Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to another rendition of my top 5 parlays. I've cooked up 5 different parlays for college football week 13 that I think you guys will find very entertaining. And let me just say, happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there. But let's get right into it, starting with my first parlay. It's always the safe parlay. I take a lot of pride in getting this one right, guys. The first leg of it, Cincinnati straight money line at East Carolina. Cincinnati can smell the playoffs right now. This is a very focused team. They are minus 14, but I'll just take them money line. This is the safe parlay, right? We're just doing that. So give me Cincinnati, money line at East Carolina. Cincinnati knows they need to win this football game if they want to stay in the playoff race. They can smell the playoffs, the first potential group of 5 team to make them. Number 2, it's Ohio State minus 8 at Michigan. So Ohio State straight covering the 8-point spread at Michigan. This line opened at 7. It immediately got bet up to 7.5, and now it's up to minus 8, and it's kind of stayed there for a few days. This is just too good value to pass up. When you're talking about Ohio State's number 1 offense in college football, all they got to do is cover an 8-point spread. Michigan, I have a lot of respect for that program. They're a no-nonsense football team, but Ohio State is simply more talented, better coached, better skill position players. You're talking about 3 potential first-round wide receivers. Michigan, I expect them to get pressure early, but overall, Ohio State pulls away in this game. I got them at least dropping 40, probably 50 in this one. Ohio State minus 8. Purdue money line versus Indiana. I love Purdue minus 15. That's another bet in a different parlay I have here coming up in a little bit. But this is the safe parlay. We're just going to take Purdue money line. Purdue last week at Wrigley Field when they faced Northwestern. Very impressive offensive performance. Milton Wright, the receiver for Purdue, I believe, had over 200 yards. They easily beat a decent Northwestern defense. So give me that money line. Indiana's the worst team in the Big Ten right now. That is easy. Michigan State team total, the under 25.5 versus Penn State. Michigan State, this game, I said this in a previous video, this game has underwritten all over it. 25.5 points is a lot. The highest I can see Michigan State scoring without a turnover or without like a pick 6 or a fumble recovery is 24. Maybe they get to 24, but to me, this game has 21-17 written all over it. 25.5 team total for Michigan State. I know they have Kenneth Walker. Let's be real. He's banged up. Both Michigan State's best receivers, Naylor and Reed, are injured. They might play, they might not. Penn State has a good defense. This is a cold game, winter, lower scoring, guys. I'm telling you, lower scoring, 25.5 is way too much. I saw this and I immediately had to jump on it. And then the Pittsburgh team total, the over 36.5 at Syracuse. I think Pitt just goes crazy in the final week of the regular season, ladies and gentlemen. And Kenny Pickett says, you know what? I'm having a Heisman type season. I know I'm not going to win the thing, but I still want to earn that trip to New York. I'm going to throw for 450 yards and 6 touchdowns in the Carrier Dome. We know we don't have to worry about the weather in the Carrier Dome. This is going to be a huge day for the Pitt offense. I see Pittsburgh dropping a 50-burger on Syracuse. Syracuse defense not very good. Love that for Pittsburgh right there. There's my safe parlay, the 5 picks. It is, normally my other ones are a lot lower value, 753. You need a few things to go right here, but I just love the Ohio State value. Love Michigan State not being able to get to 26 points, and then Pittsburgh. The other 2 are pretty much locked. Cincinnati needs to win at East Carolina, and then Purdue, my goodness, Indiana is terrible. So that's my first parlay. My second parlay starts off Coastal Carolina just the money line at South Alabama. This is a fun fact. South Alabama on the ESPN app, when you click on the game and they minimize the teams, so they just kind of have an abbreviation. South Alabama's abbreviation is USA. It's pretty amazing. It's funny, like the United States, but overall, Coastal Carolina 15-point favorites in this game. Grayson McCall extremely effective, number 1, I believe, in overall quarterback efficiency. CJ Stroud is number 1 in QBR, but quarterback efficiency, McCall is averaging like 12 yards per completion or attempt, something like that. Coastal Carolina should win this game easily, but it's a parlay, so we'll just go money line for that one and use the multiplier. NC State, the money line versus North Carolina. This is disrespectful. NC State only 5.5-point favorites. I like them minus the 5.5, but again, this is a parlay. We need a lot to happen. Just give me that money line. I don't want to lose a parlay because I had NC State minus 5.5 and they only won by 3. That's why I go money line there. North Carolina, let's be real. Come on. I mean, at this point, it's just not their year. I like Sam Howell, but their defense is atrocious. They score a lot. They allow a lot. Give me NC State. NC State, very focused team. NC State, they're like we're not going to allow this North Carolina team to ruin our season. We're at home. We've had a great year. We're going to get this win. I have faith in NC State, a top 20 team, to get it done. Wake Forest money line at Boston College. I also love Wake Forest minus the 5.5, but it is a parlay. You want to be more safe with it, so we'll just take Wake Forest to win outright at Boston College. Boston College not having a very good year. Wake Forest coming off that disappointing loss. Don't let that loss to Clemson ruin your season. You've had a great year. You've got a great quarterback. You're going against the Boston College team that's not very good. Go in there, get the win. You're still going to be a ranked team in the ACC. I think they do that. They don't let that Clemson defeat ruin their season. They get the win at Boston College. Wisconsin money line at Minnesota. This is another one. I love Wisconsin minus 6.5 at Minnesota. It was in one of my best bets. It was in my best bet video. But if we're just doing the money line, I'll be safe about it. I'll just take them money line at Minnesota. They're going to win this game. Minnesota, I'm wondering how they get 100 yards of total offense in this game. Where is it coming from? Where is it coming from? They're on their 8th string running back. Their offense is atrocious. I'm sorry, nothing against Minnesota. If they had their starting running back, it'd be a lot different. But overall, Wisconsin, they're on a tear right now. They have a very good defense. They have a phenom freshman running back. This game will be close for a half due to the rivalry, but this is going to be a blowout win for Wisconsin. And then the Oklahoma State money line versus Oklahoma. So Bedlam, I have Oklahoma State winning this game. They're 3.5-point favorites. Sometimes it's just not your year, and this is a terrible matchup for Caleb Williams. This Oklahoma offense has been atrocious recently. Caleb Williams is completely inaccurate. I understand he's a true freshman. He's very talented. But if I'm Oklahoma, I'm not even looking to throw the ball. I'm using Caleb Williams' legs in this game more than I am, his arm. But Oklahoma State and their defense and how well they're playing, that's a very tough spot to bring a true freshman quarterback on the road in Bedlam. Oklahoma State, they've never been to a Big 12 championship game, since they've expanded it to what it is now. They want to go. They're hungry. It's simply not Oklahoma's year. Oklahoma State gets it done at home. And then there's the 5-team parlay plus 434. You can see those are all just straight money lines. So that's a very simple parlay, 5-team money line. Moving on to number 3, the first part, it is Washington State -1 at Washington. I just think Washington State is the better football team. I understand Washington is at home here. I understand they have a good defense, but they have an interim head coach. Washington State is saying, you know what? We've been better than this team all year. They're our rival. We're not going to let them ruin our season. We want to get to 7 wins. I believe they're 6-5 right now. And this is a game I just believe Washington State is better. They could win this game 19-17. And they cover the 1-point spread, but I think they win maybe like 26-17, maybe a weird score, but lower scoring because Washington is a good defensive team and they are at home. But I still like Washington State. I just think they're the better team. We've got Rutgers money line versus Maryland. So Rutgers actually 1.5-point underdogs. I think they're going to be way more motivated than Maryland is. You look at what Maryland did last week against Michigan. They completely gave up. Rutgers, they're hungry. They're 5-6. They're fighting for that bowl bid. This would be huge for their program. Greg Schiano is going to have his guys ready to play at home. They get this outright win against the Maryland team that's quite frankly quit on the season. They've quit on the season. Number 3, we've got Utah -23.5 at Colorado. That's actually in Utah. That is not at Colorado, I believe. I think I have that wrong because if that was in Colorado, they would not be 24-point favorites. But Utah at home in this matchup, 23.5, 24 points. That's a lot to win by. But when you think about it, if Utah wins 38-7, they're covering easy. As long as Utah doesn't allow Colorado to score a lot, they're covering this spread easily. And Colorado has a very bad offense, a mediocre defense. I'll give it to you, but it doesn't matter. Utah can still get turnovers. The key to Utah covering this game, just don't allow Colorado to score a lot. 7 or 10 points. If they score that, Utah covers the 23.5 points easy. Again, Utah is at home in this game. I believe I have that wrong. It says at Colorado. Texas A&M money line at LSU. Texas A&M just has way more to play for than LSU. They're only around 6.5-point favorites. I wouldn't feel as comfortable betting Texas A&M minus the 6.5, but I still would do it if I was forced to. It's just because Texas A&M's offense is not good, but their defense is really good. LSU, lame duck coach, last game of the regular season, no motivation. They barely beat UL Monroe last week, let's be honest about it. Texas A&M still has a lot to play for. They want to go to a respectable bowl. They've had a nice season. They beat Alabama at home. They've got more to play for. They're going to get this win in Baton Rouge. And then the Pitt money line at Syracuse, that's just a safe one to add on to it. I am fully confident Pittsburgh will win this weekend's game at Syracuse. Again, I have them dropping a 50 burger. There is the 5-team parlay plus over 1,000 in that one, so that's a little bit less of a chance due to some of the against the spread picks. Moving on to my fourth parlay, we've got Nebraska money line versus Iowa. So the spread in this one was crazy. It opened up. I thought the spread in this game would have opened a pick'em, right? Like Nebraska at home versus Iowa. But it opened Nebraska minus 3.5. Then it shifted, and right now, at least the last time I saw, Iowa is the current betting favorite minus 1.5. I just cannot see Iowa scoring, and at some point, Nebraska is gonna win a close game. They're gonna. And it feels like this is a great kickstart to a new era with Scott Frost kind of kicking in the next year. You have all these close losses. You're facing your rival at home. Iowa cannot generate yards. The only way Iowa scores is if they get interceptions, turnovers, great field position. They average like, they're getting like 200, 250 yards a game. They're just not, they cannot move the ball. They cannot move the ball. Nebraska's at home. They're going to be fired up. We all know they're better than their record, but they win this game outright. They're currently 1.5 point underdogs. They were favorites. Now they're underdogs since the line moved. There's the game that I was talking about, Purdue minus 15 versus Indiana. Indiana is atrocious. Purdue can score. I've got Purdue scoring 42 points. If they score 42 points, they will cover 1,000% of the time. Indiana has a terrible defense, a terrible offense. This game, I would put this game, if I was a Vegas odds maker, I'd put it Purdue minus 21 at least. This is crazy value. I don't know how I missed this in my best bets video. Purdue was a lock to cover basically 2 touchdowns against Indiana at home with that offense. Come on, folks. Virginia money line versus Virginia Tech. Brennan Armstrong is back. Virginia, way better offense than Virginia Tech. They're around 7-point favorites. I don't feel as comfortable betting that, but they're going to win this game at home in a rivalry against Virginia Tech. Brennan Armstrong, one of the top passers in America. Really good receivers. Way more explosive offense than Virginia Tech. Too many explosive plays. They will overwhelm Tech and win that rivalry game at home. LSU team total under 19.5 versus A&M. Again, there's just no motivation for LSU, and this might be a sucker's bet, right? You're going under 19.5. That's a low number. I understand it's a low number, but still, 2 touchdowns and a field goal. I'm envisioning this game to be low scoring overall. Like, I think the under is going to hit. So if Texas A&M, as long as Texas A&M doesn't get out to this huge lead where LSU gets all these garbage time yards, you could be looking at like a 26-17 team type A&M win where LSU scores 2 touchdowns and a field goal, but the team under still hits because the team under is 19.5, so they could get 2 touchdowns and a field goal. That'd only be 17 points. That's what I'm envisioning with this game. I'm thinking lower scoring. I'm not thinking A&M's going to be up 28-0 early in the second quarter to where LSU can get a bunch of garbage time yards and points in the second half. I'm thinking it's low scoring, tight, a lot of punting, A&M leading the entire way, but a lower scoring game. Tulane at Memphis, just the straight over 58. Both of these teams could score. I thought it was good value. I would have put this over-under around 61 or 62, definitely into the 60s. Both of these offenses have shown the ability, a lot of explosiveness. Neither of these teams a lot to play for. That's when the defense kind of goes away. You get these shootout games, 45-42, 52 to like 42, something like that. So I'm expecting very good value, Tulane at Memphis, as long as the weather is good for the over 58. So that is my fourth parlay, 5 picks. As you can see, the overall odds on that one. Moving on to my final parlay, kind of the fun one, parlay number 5. We've got the Boise State money line at San Diego State. Guys, I'm a Boise State betting expert. They are minus 2.5. I'm sure a lot of people are surprised. How are they favorites on the road, against San Diego State, who's been ranked by the College Football Playoff Committee? They're a 1-loss team. Boise State's unbelievable, folks. This Boise State team, they should be in the College Football Top 25. They're on a rampage right now. They just destroyed New Mexico last week and easily covered the 27-point spread, just like I said they would. I'm an expert on Boise State. They're winning this game, so I've got them money line there. I think they also cover the 2.5, by the way. Next, we've got UCF money line versus South Florida. This was just one I threw in there. UCF is like 18-point favorite. South Florida is terrible this year, and UCF is at home. So give me just UCF money line. Iowa State money line versus TCU. Another one I just threw in there. TCU, they're having a tough end of the year. You beat Baylor, but last week they nearly lost to Kansas. Iowa State, still a decent team. Iowa State's like 14-point favorites in this game, so I don't see them losing, so I've just got them money line. And then, oh yes, New Mexico State money line versus UMass. The battle of 2 of the worst teams in Power 5 college football. I had to add this game. UMass is the worst Power 5 football team. They're 130th out of 130. New Mexico State, you could argue maybe 128th out of 130th, maybe 127th. They're not the worst, New Mexico State, but I'll just take New Mexico State money line versus UMass. If you guys are wondering, I believe New Mexico State is a 6.5-point favorite in this game at home. We've got West Virginia at Kansas. The under 55.5. West Virginia's offense is atrocious, folks, and Kansas is playing better inspired football. Low scoring, close game here. I love Kansas plus 15.5, but I love the under even more. This is like a 20-17, 20-14 type game. These two teams, maybe we get some rain in Lawrence, maybe. We'll have to see, maybe like 45 degrees and rainy. Ooh, 20-14 final type score. The under hits easily. BYU money line at USC. I refuse to believe BYU is going to let USC ruin their season with an interim head coach when USC, with all these 5 stars, all these talented guys, they're playing for nothing. Those guys have quit on the season. There's nothing to play for. You're getting a new head coach. BYU, they've been ranked. They've been in the top 15 by the College Football Playoff Committee. They're focused on this game. They know they need to win. They know they need to close the season out strong, get into a good bowl game, and I think they get the job done. And then we've got some NFL action. The Cowboys money line versus the Raiders. This is that 4:30 Thanksgiving Day game. I just don't think the Cowboys are going to lose 2 games in a row. Both of these teams are coming off horrific losses. It's an interesting game. The Cowboys coming off that bad loss in Kansas City where they only scored 9 points. Amari Cooper is officially out. CeeDee Lamb is questionable. He might play, although that's a quick turnaround, 4-day turnaround to have a concussion to be able to be cleared. We'll have to see on that. Zeke's probably going to play. He's been on the injury report every week, but he plays. And then for the Raiders, you lose 32-13. Derek Carr was getting pressured constantly by the Bengals. I think the Cowboys, they're not going to let that loss in Kansas City derail what is a very good season. They're 7-3 on the year. They're going to get the win at home against the Raiders on Thanksgiving. And then we've got the Chargers money line as they head to Denver. I'm very confident in the Chargers this week to win. I was very confident in them last week on Sunday Night Football versus Pittsburgh. I just think they get the job done in Denver. Denver, not enough offense. It is tough to go and win in Denver. I like their defense at home. I understand that, but I'll just take the Chargers, whether they win by 3-2, whatever. I just have the money line. And here you can see, look how long it takes to come in. I did that on purpose. I made it slow. But there you can see, I couldn't even fit the full parlay on this one. But there you can see some of the overall odds. The risk 55 down at the bottom, win 933. But guys, those are my top 5 parlays for college football week 13. Make sure you're following me on Twitter. Link to that's always in the description. I'm, of course, the Depressed Ginger. Thank you for watching.